A reading for the Leos, the sign of power. For the new moon occurring in your opposite sign, in Aquarius, about 4 hours hence here on March the 13th. This reading will last and be valid through to April 12th. And this particular new moon, new beginning, new conception is occurring in your 7th house of career. I'm sorry, it's not your 7th house of career. Saturn makes me think about your career, but it occurs in your 7th house of your spouse, your partner, your business partnerships. Your doctor, your therapist, contracts, binding agreements, litigation, even open conflict. And the reason it makes me think of your career is because Saturn is ruling the 7th house for you. And Uranus and Mercury influencing this new moon makes me feel like, I'm sorry, it's not Uranus, it's Neptune and Mercury influencing this new moon makes me think about the relationship of self to self, self to soul, about personal alignment and how you're going to bring that together around your career and your interaction with the world outside. We end the war within and things outside become more comfortable for us. How we can bring ourselves in alignment with our soul is what I think this Aquarius new moon is about. And for you, lovely. The Queen of Pentacles is your first card out. Now, she is a queen of material stability, of material comforts, and she definitely has the right relationship with the natural world as well. She's a solid, stable, material influence in the tarot deck, and as a queen represents feminine energy. On the opposite side of her, we have the High Priestess, the card of intuition, of mysticism, of endings and beginnings, of unity and strength. She unifies all the mystical forces, and so it looks to me like you've got the material world and the spiritual world in relationship here. Let's do a Celtic Ross reading and find out what kind of a relationship that is. I'm asking for a signifier, so I'm asking Spirit to show me a card that will represent you in this reading. This card is coming up a lot in the Aquarius new moon readings. And this is a card about play fighting. But play fighting is very constructive for young animals. And it teaches them boundaries. It shows them the rules of the physical universe. And it's very informative. Nobody's really getting hurt in this fight. And wands are symbols of energy and creation and willpower. This is kind of how we learn our way around that, is by knocking around with other people, right? In the workplace, in romantic relationships, in business partnerships, and all the things that we talked about that represent your 7th house. Clients, doctors, therapists, anyone you consult is someone that you have this kind of a relationship with. But you can also very significantly have it with yourself and with your soul. And if there's an ongoing conversation there, it can be a very fruitful one in this new moon. You're covered by a card that represents a bit of disappointment. This is the Four of Cups. And it's about contemplation, yes, but also like a disconnection and an apathy. An emotional offering that was unsatisfying to you came through this kind of confrontational play, and you're not really all that interested in it. You may be thinking about something else. You're crossed by the Seven of Cups, or maybe you've had some cups before that you did not really like. It happens, right? While you're searching for a purpose, or you're trying to come into alignment with your soul, sometimes you run into choices or options that don't really fit the bill. And sometimes it can feel like that's all there is, are options that don't really fit the bill. Let's see how that plays out for you. It looks like you were knocking around and trying to figure it out, and you came up to some things that were disappointing, and then kind of were crossed by some things that were outright bewildering. And we're reading that one in the reverse. So it's kind of, a lack of purpose is the result here. The obstacle is confusion. Like you've come up against it so many times that now you're just like, I'm not figuring it out through my knock it around sort of thing. Oh, good. You're crowned by the Ace of Pentacles. I didn't mean to be like, oh, good, but the Pentacles represent the security of the material world. And this particular one represents a new beginning, a natural new beginning though, like an organic new beginning, one that isn't artifice. Cups are made, right? Staffs are natural, but cups are made. And this is a more creative, more secure thing than you've encountered before on this path of trying to figure it out. And your foundation is authority and tradition. The Hierophant is our first major arcana card in this reading, and he represents conformity and morality and ethics. And maybe you haven't been able to find anything that works for you in traditional morality, and maybe that's where you've based your play, and now you're possibly headed to a new energetic, or like a new energy, I guess is what I'm trying to say, like a different way of moving forward and relating that doesn't as much involve the tradition of people that have come before you, but something that's more organic to you. You're definitely moving away from some unconscious difficulty, some worry, it's kind of illusion, but a negative intuition sort of thing. It's just a dark Piscean card of, it kind of reminds me of the Seven of Cups too, because it's like, all these strange things are happening. The he looks like a lobster to me. The little lobster is like trying to make his way through these two towers and this landscape and these dogs, and the moon looks upset. So it's like the difficulty surrounding what you've kind of found emotionally culminated in the past. And it may have had something to do with tradition, authority, groups, being with, as we were talking about career and workplace in the seventh house, maybe, being with groups of people that were just downright bewildering for you. You couldn't intuit what was going on there. You weren't able to take the cup, but you're moving toward decisive action, justice, clarity. And the King of Swords is, this is a just person with just ideas and logic and reason, and his intellect is what guides him. He's always got his head over his heart. Moving toward discipline, right? Moving toward truth. And that seems like that's what was lacking for you in some of the other places, because it's all kind of murky, and this is because I said so, and this is kind of I'm not sure I really want what's in that cup, and this is like the school of hard knocks. But there's something more organic. There's a new idea for you that rings more true. Oh, I'm going to stay with that because that rhymes, and it's true if it rhymes. Right on. It's holding to a new ideal. And this is a kind of ambitious fellow. Same energy, right? The pentacles, the coins. In some decks, they call them the coins. In this one, we call it the pentacles, but it's, security in the material world. But it also represents nature, because nature is an unending resource, not just for us to use, but it is, a resource for us to explore on this material journey. And this particular page is all about focus. And he's determined to engage his ambition. His ambition is ideal, right? He's got the desire and the diligence to remain focused on this security, this resource. Ooh, good. And then you got another new beginning, and this is in your direct surroundings. So this card represents you as you are right now, driven, directed, focused toward your pentacle, your idea of security and your ideal of security, your material world, natural focus. And then we'll be going back to this idea, the original idea that you had when you first began the whole thing, which was wands. And that's the energy and the creation and the willpower. And getting a new beginning there in creation and inspiration and desire, having that be all around you in kind of a career workplace situation, looks like it could set you up for some success in your relationship with your inner self. Holy cats, you fear too much of a good thing there. Too much energy, willpower, creation. Because the Ten of Wands is accomplishment, but it's responsibility and duty to the extent of being a burden. And we don't know if those wands are going to be good for the people in the village where he's taking them, and he can't even see where he's going because of all the duties, responsibilities, and obligations that he has. Some people see this card as oppression. And, that's a very real hope and fear card, right? It's very easy to be afraid of the fact that you might get taken advantage of and exploited in the workplace, or exploited by having too much to do. Maybe you want to start a new business. Maybe you want to do your own thing and be your own boss. And you're just worried that you're not going to be able to have any free time or enjoy your life. But I think this new beginning is logical and reasonable. And I think it has a lot of impelling energy that comes with the new moon. It may seem overwhelming. It may seem twice what you were doing when you started. But let's see if it really ends up that way. It's wise. He has a staff of a different kind, right? His wand is the wand of wisdom. Now, it looks to me like you gained a lot of experience in this darker period of the past. And it looks like you have the inner authority, the inner foundation, to bring it forward into material security, logical, rational, just truth. You have the ambition, you have the drive, no question. You have the energy, the creation, the willpower. And it looks like you have the desire. What may be the difficulty for you is the burden of it. It will require discernment for you to be able to not oppress yourself with your new beginning. It will require the kind of intelligence that you got in the School of Hard Knocks and all the disappointment that you had, however. You have what it takes to discern the way forward in this new beginning. You have the knowledge of self and the knowledge of truth within you. Your foundation and tradition, your understanding of your group of people, and maybe that could be a target audience, that could be, so many things, whatever the group is. You have the practical lived experience to be able to achieve this without having it become a burden. It's not going to be easy though. It's going to take some heart. This is your card that is on the bottom of the deck, and therefore we say that this informs the whole reading. The outcome card being the Hermit up there, wisdom of the heart and the mind balanced is what the King of Cups urges us to do and be. And it looks like he is kind of blessing your whole reading. It looks like he's basically saying, don't be afraid of your oppression by whatever this new venture is, because your heart and your head are aligned. Your soul and your self are working together in order to give you the emotional control and the balance to move forward in right relationship. As you move away from the pain of the past, that's one of the readings of the moon for me, is, just a poor little shellfish and these dogs and darkness threatened to swallow me up, but you're still here. And your heart is still balanced, open, and loving. And that is saying something. That is wisdom. That is taking what comes and turning it into something. Now your medicine card is the Spider. And she is the weaver of this deck. She is fate. She is the creative energy of Shakti. She's creativity itself. And you have so much creativity in this reading and so much heart in it that if you're thinking about, doing something more creative with your life, but you're afraid that it's just going to be a bottomless hole of work, the only thing I can really encourage you with that is that if it's work you love, then it won't be as oppressive. Because like when I do this, when I'm reading like this, these messages are for me too. And the repeating cards tell me more about the energy of this month and how I'm going to move forward with it. And it's a service that I can do for other people. And what's kind of nice is it's free. It's rewarding in its own way. And Spider definitely has that energy of creativity and weaving and fate. The other side is like you're fated to do what you're good at, right? And the other side of that is dragonfly. And this is the energy and the magic of illusion. It's like the habits of mind that we change through experience. In one way you see it, it looks like rainbows. In another way you see it and it looks like an insect. It's how you want to look at it. And if you want to see this as oppression, quite simply, it can be oppression. But if you want to see your hopes and fear card as achievement through wisdom and heart and truth, you have that option. I'm really glad that we were able to do this one, Leo. I'm hoping that you have a great 28 days and that when the next lunar cycle comes, we will see each other here again. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I'd certainly appreciate that. And I do appreciate you. Thank you very, very much. Thank you.